Yes, sir. Now I did float, I did vibe with the whole artist thing. I wouldn't be me if I didn't be honest and transparent and share that with you on this amazing platform. I did kind of dibble and dabble in the artist thing. I swore I was a rapper. This crazy thing is my name was A Boogie. You know what I'm saying? Back then, and people had laughed and joked at me about it, like A Boogie, what the hell is that? What do you mean A Boogie? Like, so many different names you could choose, and I'm like, just kind of something that I connected with. And eventually, once I kind of like left the rap thing alone and tapped into more production, my partner at the time, my big brother Steve Suit White, was like, "Yo, he's throwing out different names," and he came across Amadeus, and I'm like, and I ain't gonna lie, I knew who Amadeus was. He was a classical composer. I actually saw the movie Amadeus, so we had a lot in common. But I just was like, I don't know. And then I really wasn't impressed or comfortable with it until I started hearing people call me Amadeus, right? So we started taking like label meetings and people started addressing me as Amadeus. And I kind of said, I was like, yo, this kind of got like a little ring to it, man. It's kind of dope. So I took on the name Amadeus. Definitely was one of the best decisions ever made. Very powerful composer, like I said, Wolfgang Mozart Amadeus. Later on down the line, I learned that it means loves God. Definitely, who I am as a God-fearing man, and it just worked, man. It just worked.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So I guess I could ask you now, when do you feel like you kind of got your first big break, you know?
My first big break was shout out to Foxy Brown. She was the first artist to take a track of mine that was released. I don't really get to talk about it much, but I want to give a big shout out to Nucci Rayo. He's actually an artist from Jersey, really incredible artist, really incredible MC and songwriter. We had a record. It was never released. So I don't get to talk about it much, but we had a record that we did for his album. And honestly, he was the first artist that purchased the track, used the track, but it was just never released. I just wanted to take time, and I never really get to talk about it, so I'm glad that we're here and I'm mentioning it today. So shout out to Nucci Rayo. He was signed to MCA, really dope artist. Met a lot of great people that night. But as far as releases, my first release was definitely Foxy Brown. It was the title song to both the movie and soundtrack, Cradle to the Grave. So rest in peace, DMX. DMX, that was definitely DMX's vision, that movie, that film, the soundtrack. The plaque is right here on the wall, actually, right behind me, man, and it means a lot to me. First beat ever sold to be in a movie, to be on the soundtrack that sold 500,000 copies, physical copies, not like streaming, and it was physical. You had to go to the store and buy either the cassette tape or the CD, man. So shout out to everybody that went outside and got that body of work, man. So that was my first placement right there. So again, big shout out to Foxy Brown. Big shout out, rest in peace to the legend DMX.
Oh yeah, rest in peace to DMX for sure. Shout out to Foxy, man. I see you plaqued up. You got a couple plaques
Man,
back there.
yes, sir. That's one wall too. I got some here, some back there, some up there. There's joints that's on the floor. I got to ran out of wall space, and it's a blessing. There's plaques that I haven't even ordered yet because of the fact that I've ran out of wall space. So it's been a
Wow.
dope journey, man. It's been a dope journey. It's a blessing, to be, a little kid one day and just hoping and dreaming that one day these would hang up on my wall and believing in myself that I can make it happen and knowing that I had the gifts and the talents that God gave me to make it work. And, it's motivation to me, man. So, 'cause sometimes, you can be in something for such a long time, me plus 20 plus years, and sometimes you can doubt yourself. Sometimes you can stop believing that you're that talent and that you're that person and that you did all of these amazing things because life happens. Things move on. Other people, have their moment. Other people have their time to shine. And I'm just grateful to still be in the game, still be a part of the business, still be relevant as a musician and as a producer. So, I wake up in the morning and I look at these, man. I look at these every day, and just kind of take in the moment and take in, what projects and albums I've blessed to be a part of. Like you said, legends and icons I've blessed to be able to work with musically. And it's a dream come true, my brother.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that. That's inspiring to me, and I know it's inspiring to the viewers as well because you human. You know what I'm saying? It's just like anybody else. You still gotta find motivation and self encouragement and things like that. And you don't work with the best of the best, so a lot of people just dream of getting one plaque. You
Hmm.
ain't got enough space. You know what I'm saying? So
Blessings,
that's
man.
dope, man. That's
Absolutely, my
dope.
brother.
Now I gotta ask you. Now, how did you connect with Bad Boy? If you could talk about that a little bit.
So, just kind of my whole career, I was always kind of placed at the right place at the right time, and with the right people. Shout out to Derek D. Angeletti, one of the original hitmen. Shout out to Buck Wild, another hitman producer, original hitman, and just blessed to be in those circles. So I was kind of always around. Got an opportunity to work with the late and great Heavy D in the studio. Rest in peace to him as well. Shout out to the A&R at Bad Boy at the time, Bobby Springsteen. Shout out to Hart Pierre, president of Bad Boy. Shout out to Conrad DeMonchi. So I was always in the mix. Always had different various opportunities, to be seen and heard by Puff and everybody else that worked at the label. But I got to give a really big shout out to Sherry Dennis, really dope artist, signed to Bad Boy. It was the record that we did, Waiting, a record that I produced for her called Waiting, that everyone at the label loved. She loved, Puff loved. And it just kind of brought a different style and a different sound to the album that she had created and it was preparing for release. To me, that record was the reason and kind of got Puff's antennas up in regards to like who did that when I was Amadeus. Then other opportunities came about, and the next thing you know, man, is the opportunity was on the table for me to become a Bad Boy Hitman. And for anyone that knows me, knows of how much I look up to Puff and that whole movement. I used to dress like him when I was little. I used to have the curly hair with the part in the middle. Like everything he did, I did, and I just kind of wanted to seal a deal and be a part of that movement. And when it happened, man, I was just like, wow, this is really happening. And I'm telling the story the way I'm telling it because oftentimes people dream and they feel like it's far fetched and it's not obtainable and it's not something that you can do. But I'm sitting here, man, and you're looking at a little kid from the Bronx, from the hood, from one of the toughest neighborhoods in the world, that was able to use the gifts and talents that God gave me. I believed in myself. I worked hard, endless nights, sleepless nights, lost a lot of friends, lost girlfriends, like because of the commitment that I had to music and production and musicianship. And now dreams do come true, man. Dreams come true as I look back and look at all of these ideas that I had as a little kid to be an adult today, looking back like, wow, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that, and I did this. And there's so much more that I want to do and accomplish, but you got to sometimes stop, take time to, smell the flowers and look at, the things that you've accomplished thus far.
Man, that's amazing. That's truly amazing. Now, what time period was this? Because Bad Boy been around for so long, you know.
hmm So I became a hitman around the making the band Danity Kane Day 26 era. So that's kind of when I got on board as a hitman. And people, when I share the story, it's like people were like, yo, why would you be a part of Bad Boy? Be a part of that team? Because when I came to Bad Boy or when I united with them, I had already produced for 50 artists. So
Wow.
I'd already worked with Dipset and Fab and G Unit and a lot of artists, and it was like, yo, you was already moving on your own. Why do that? And my way of thinking was like, think about like the Chicago Bulls, right? Like we had Michael Jordan, you had Phil Jackson, you know what I'm saying? You had Scottie Pippen, you had Dennis Rodman, you had everybody that played a part, BJ Armstrong, right? And it's like I look at Puff as Phil Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I look at Biggie, as MJ. I look at Mace as Scottie Pippen, right? Where you have this elite team, and it's like, why wouldn't I want to go to the NBA? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't I want to go to the team? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, for me, it was just a bigger picture. I wanted to learn. I wanted to absorb, the bad boy era, the bad boy movement, how they made those hits, just kind of be in a room and just learn and take in, and also work on the projects that was at Bad Boy at the time that I joined forces with them, man. So it's crazy, bro, and it's like that's a name and it's a title that I can hold on to and live and attach myself to for as long as I live. Like I still to this day, even though Bad Boy the Hitman ain't really like assembled, you know what I'm saying? It's like we still a Hitman, bro. You know what I'm saying? So for me to to be a part of Buck Wild and Derek D. Angeletti and Ron Lawrence and Stevie J and Mario Winans, like, and say, yo, I'm a part of, this blueprint, like rest in peace, Chucky Thompson, like it's legendary, bro. Like it's legendary. Sean C, LV, like it's crazy, man.